Can you be bias-free in a review when you receive the product for free? That is the question posed by Unplug and Play with this comment. They said, whenever a reviewer says that a company sent them the mic for free, I move on as I can't see how the review could be unbiased. And I'm going to be honest, that looks like a solid statement. It makes sense as there is an inherent value in a microphone, right? Well, actually, no. And to explain that, we have to get a little philosophical for just a second. So then, what is value? Well, to start, every item in our lives has a financial value attached to it, right? It's the cost of purchasing it. If something costs $500, then it's easy to say the value of that something is $500. But the cost of purchase isn't the complete story when finding value in something. For example, to someone that doesn't care about collectibles, a Wayne Gretzky rookie card may not hold any value. And the value of that item is ascribed by the willingness of others to pay a certain amount to get that card. But in the end, it's still just a piece of paper with the picture on it. And to someone that knows nothing about hockey or couldn't care less, they wouldn't pay the price, even at a discount, to acquire that card. And you can go further with that as well. Family heirlooms may not actually have any financial value to them. And while no one else would bother paying money for the items, they are priceless to the person that owns them. So this should tell you that determining the value of something isn't as straightforward as you might think. Value is something that is different person to person. And that is an important concept to wrap your head around as we move on. To start this out, I should say there are two types of bias in a review. One is unconscious bias, when you don't realize it's happening. The other is obviously conscious, where it's overt and obvious. Now, unconscious bias is something we all have. It's a natural inclination in almost every walk of life. We have a favorite something, and that is our favorite for a specific reason, and we aren't willing to argue for or against. It's just our favorite. Vehicle brands are a good example of that. For reviewers, though, we try to keep that natural bias out when creating content, and it can be tough sometimes, but it's not impossible. Personally, I love road products, but I also have given road products poor reviews when it was necessary. It's not perfect, and natural bias will creep in for all reviewers from time to time. But with a simple look at my personal setup, you will see very little road. My mic, my personal interface, almost everything save for the boom arms is not road. On the other hand, conscious bias is a very different thing and much more devious. This is where you throw your opinion behind something for a value, like a product or money. This can come in the form of not critiquing a product, focusing on positives rather than negatives, or even promoting the product as your favorite. But the sinister part about that is when you do not inform your audience that you're receiving something of value, and you trick your audience into thinking the content is a critical analysis of the product, more commonly known as a review. And that is the core of the issue here. But the original comment mentioned product, and whether or not a review is trustworthy if you're receiving it for free. So then, let's take all that we've just learned and figure out the value of a microphone. The actual monetary value of this microphone, the one from the video that the person commented on, is $400 US. And if this microphone is your favorite, the value may go slightly up for you. So assuming you have a great interest in microphones and you do not have a microphone, or perhaps a much cheaper one, this is worth $400 to you. And as we see, people will pay that amount. The system works. But what about me? My favorite mic is the MKH416, which I'm using right here. I use it for literally everything, and I bought it with my own money. How much value does this, the Austrian Audio OC16, hold for me? Now that you know this, let's complicate things even more. I have countless microphones, much like the OC16. I am rich in microphones. And if that doesn't really mean anything to you, perhaps an old analogy would. This, let's pretend, is a glass of water. Now, I'm in a studio. I can't actually have water in this because, everything. Let's pretend this is a glass of water. It has no particular monetary value. But to someone about to die of thirst, this water would be priceless. They would give all their wealth for this measly cup of water. Conversely, if you were about to die of drowning, this same cup of water would have zero value because it would actually only hasten your demise. And to put it frankly, I'm drowning in microphones. So then another microphone has zero value to me. I already have many, there's no value in another, especially when my setup is at its peak and rather static. So the only thing this microphone will do is sit on my shelf. So the argument of bias based on value is kind of moot. Consider Marquez at MKBHD. He does not need more cell phones. So is he impacted by bias when he receives another new flagship? Of course not. Now, this doesn't mean that it can't happen, but it would require that the item to be of any value to the reviewer. If somebody offered me a mansion in return for a review, I would be hard-pressed to be offered an unbiased review. But as it is, I have so few offers for mansion reviews. It's very sad. So then, can we put this argument to bed? Probably not. And I can imagine a ton of people in the comments who can't wrap their head around not needing a $400 microphone because, well, they're thirsty. And that glass of water is just so enticing. And although I'm going to get a ton of clap for this video, hit me up down below and let me know what you think. Cheers.